Welcome to Neon Cobra. Let's kick into it. All right, this week I want to talk about Microsoft 365 Backup services. So this is kind of a subsection of Syntex, and you kind of saw it in public preview not too long ago, but just became GA, I want to say about last week. So this would be, start of August, I'd say. The reason why I want to bring this up, even though it's not Azure, it's Azure adjacent. It dumps the storage into an Azure archive or an Azure blob storage. And that's where it's essentially storing the data. Now, you would think it might be as easy as just taking a look at the amount of data and then extrapolating the costs. But when we actually look at pricing this out, it becomes a little convoluted, quite honestly. So it's going to actually monitor you on the number of protection units at the start of a period. Right, so that's going to be how many OneDrive documents, how many SharePoint libraries, how many Exchange entries. And then it's going to calculate also the number of protection units at the end of a period. So it does a start and end variance, and then the amount of storage used at the start and at the end. So it's very complicated. I'm going to link the article actually in my blog as to how to go about pricing it. But the concept is you have to actually go and look at all your data and the churn and the amount of throughput. Now, for a managed service provider, this is going to be very difficult, right? On a one-to-one, this is probably a very cost-effective model, quite honestly. But when you're trying to productize this and bring it to market, it's really hard when you start looking at other competitors like, say, your Drop Suites or your Red Store, right? That will give you a fixed price per model and doesn't care about the data. It also has a limit on the amount of retention, so a 1-year retention policy and everything. Now, there is increases you can set down, but its baseline pricing capacity is around the 1-year mark. Now, this is based off all the white pages provided by Microsoft. I'm sure the service will evolve over time, but if I have to be quite honest, Microsoft kind of missed the mark from a service provider standpoint. And it really doesn't lend any sort of credence to the don't put all your eggs in one basket when you're also putting your backups back into Microsoft 365 under the same tenant, mind you. So this is, brand new service. If you want to adopt the full Microsoft model, this is definitely a place to stay. For a managed service provider, though, when you're trying to maybe diversify your platform and try to make it into a generative business model where you have fixed costing and defined margins, this might fall a little short. So take a look at the blog. I'll have a little bit more information in there as well as how to price it out. Catch you next time.